So, Lab Coat Agents, good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's me, Dale Archedekin, Brian. Oh, Gustavo says it's live. Thanks, Gustavo. Our Zoom is giving us false readings here. Mine says preparing to go live. Excellent. Well, I'm glad that we're here. So myself, Brian Curtis, we're back with Cash Call. And Brian, I'm excited about a call that we're going to listen to today that I have. And here's the reason why, is because the lead that this agent is talking to, it's pretty obvious that he's a real do-it-yourselfer kind of guy, right?
Okay.
And you'll hear that from the description of what's going on with him right now and how he's going about his process. And that at a certain point, he talks about how, yeah, we're getting bombarded by all these agents. And what we're going to hear is something that I want to point out to everybody, which is that this guy doesn't actually have any unique value for agents. And this is a perfect opportunity to insert a USP or a unique selling proposition. And I know you and your team use unique selling propositions. The team this guy's from has them, but isn't using them. And their people really aren't trained on articulating them. So I thought you'd be interested in hearing that, because I know you guys are using USPs, and I thought this would be a really good example for people of this is exactly why you need these things, and this is where it goes.
Perfect. And I love that. USPs are so important. At the end of the day, you've got to differentiate yourself or you're going to work twice as hard. That's really the reality of it. So, as Dale brings that up, we have 5 different USPs that we run every day. And I'm just a huge fan. And if anyone's out there going, what's a USP? USP is unique selling proposition. It's just what are you going to offer somebody? And it's funny, Dale, last time we did this, and let me know when you're ready to go. But the last time we did this, people kind of dogged on me because I was giving away things. In other words, I was giving away home warranties, and they're like, "Oh, you're wasting your money. You're bribing people." So anybody who's listening to this, every company in the world, when they do marketing, they're spending money on marketing, and they'll give you stuff. Here, come get a toaster, open up a bank account. That's not a new concept. I'm not giving away my commission. I'm using marketing to secure dollars, and that's what we're doing. We have USPs.
Yeah, and listen, for those people, those people who poo-poo that stuff, right? I'm sure you do this. You partner with companies that support this kind of stuff. There's a million companies and providers out there that want to throw dollars toward a real estate company, and when it's done legally, is perfectly fine and can offset a lot of those costs. And
absolutely,
half the USPs are probably, don't cost you anything unless somebody actually executes on it, like my stupid cell phone insurance. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. All right, let's listen to it.
Okay, so I'm going to let everybody hear a little bit of the context of the person before we stop at the point where I'm pretty confident we need to interject the USP.
Hello.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't have my sound up right. Let me get it in my headset. Are you hearing me in my head? Are you hearing me good?
I am.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. This morning.
I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. The reason for my call is it looks like you were kind of.
I've got the pre-approval letter for the FHA loan.
Okay.
So like I said, we're just looking at any and everywhere, really.
Okay.
Arkansas.
Sounds good.
And what has you looking right now? Are you guys currently renting, or do you own a home that you'd be?
Well, we live on a place that her dad and I built a little A-frame barn, temporary, so we don't pay any rent right now.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Do-it-yourselfer, right? Living on my dad's property in an A-frame we built.
Okay. And what type of price point are you trying to stay under?
For the FHA, I got pre-approved for $200,000, and I did the little pre-approval tool on the USDA.
Do-it-yourselfer.
And that, just a quick scan. The general information that I gave them was $250 for that, but that's not, set in stone there.
Right. Okay.
So 200 right now is what we're looking at. I'd love to stay, we've got enough for a down payment. We probably have to finance the closing costs, stuff like that. So, 190, 195.
This guy's pretty educated, right?
Right.
At this exact moment is what's realistic for us.
Okay. And what type of time frame do you guys think you'd be looking to do this?
Man, we're open to whenever, really. We're ready.
Just whenever you see that right property.
Yeah, man, we're just looking for the right place. I believe the pre-approval we got was good through June 2nd. So.
Okay.
I'm not going to say that's our deadline because, if we don't find the right place, I could probably take another hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming up
take
here,
another
don't
hit
worry.
on credit and, just have them rerun it. But
Right. Okay. You said how many people are going to be living with?
our dad's pretty handy. We could do some remodeling and stuff along the way on certain things.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds in those areas that you.
Now, the reason I'm pointing out, handy guy, do it himselfer, has an answer for everything, right? Because when we're trying to position ourselves to be able to solve a problem for somebody or offer information for them or give them access to listings or however it is that we as agents try to position the benefit of working with us or our team, I keep hearing a lot of dead ends with this guy in terms of there's no obvious value right now that is missing. Do you know what I mean? And so let's hear what happens. What's that, Brian?
I agree.
Mentioned like the Greenland, Farmington, Elkins, Prairie Grove, those type of areas, we might be able to find something pretty nice with that price range. I don't want to step on any toes or anything, but do you have an agent that you know and trust that you're working with, or you just
man,
kind of looking?
This is our first time buying, so I've been kind of thrown around, on the websites. My wife's been watching the Trulia and the Zillow and the Realtor like a hawk. So we've kind of been thrown around. I'm not married to an agent, to be upfront. I've got one from Curtis, I believe, that she set me up on a virtual MLS website, a portal. Kind of see. She set some restrictions, but I'm not, like I said, I haven't committed to anyone that, like I said, this is kind of our first.
There we go. Okay. That's what we heard, right? I'm getting thrown around on the internet. There's a lot of agents that are talking to us, sending us information. So that's where the USP would be really key, right? Because you're not going to get this guy and I'm going to educate you on the process because he's already educated, right? You're not going to get this guy on I'm going to send you listings because he's already getting listings.
Mm-hmm.
So you've either got to capture this guy on rapport, which this is a newer ISA and we're working with him on building rapport with people. He's a nice guy, but we need to have some more rapport building technique in there. And that's the perfect opportunity for a USP to be inserted there. Oh, got it. She's sending you properties. Well, that sounds great. I don't know if you've heard of my team, but we sell X amount of homes in this area every year. And we've developed a unique buyer program that gives you value proposition, which really isn't being matched by any other company in this market. Would you be interested in knowing more about that? I mean, that's just a bold-faced USP right there.
Well, and I love how you presented it. Here's what most agents do when they present the USP. Hey, I've got this really great program for you. Instead of doing that, you got to ask those questions. So, by the way, it sounds like you're a first-time home buyer. We do have a first-time home buyer program. Is that something you might be interested in learning about? Because if they say yes to that, now you've got their attention, but if you just go, let me tell you about this great thing, sometimes you're just talking at a wall. And honestly, this guy, and you pointed this out, he's not a super good listener. I was talking to somebody about active listening the other day. This guy's not interested in active listening. He's interested in telling you what he knows over and over and over again. So you've got to get him to engage on the level that you're at. And it's really hard to do that with somebody who just wants to tell you, well, I do this and I do this and I do this. So huge opportunity. You have to ask these people questions because you have to get them to go into your lane instead of their lane over here.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill, also you said the agent doesn't seem interested. It's a newer ISA, Bill, just letting you know that. So, we're not, because of that, there's a lot of style things that we could work on with him. But more importantly, what did I wanted to present the lead, and this kind of lead, and the perspective of this kind of lead, where it can be difficult when they have when they think they have all the answers, right? When they have, when they're like a complete circle and there's no opportunity for us, that's when the USP, especially when they sound like they're educated and connected to other real estate agents or other competitors, having that USP now becomes the thing they didn't know about, the thing they don't know, the thing that they might be interested in, the
Yeah.
carrot, right?
Well,
So,
and here's another thing that you've got to do with people like this is, and this is one of my favorite questions that you can ask. So it sounds like you've been talking to a bunch of agents. How do we know? Because literally my team apparently, and sounds like I got some training to do, but my team apparently set these people up on a listing alert and they're ignoring that. Oh yeah, somebody from so-and-so did that. So it sounds like we didn't do a very good job of buttoning this person up
did
either.
they name your team?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Funny. I know the guys who runs this team were friends.
I thought maybe you would get it from the accent.
Yeah, no, they actually said somebody from Curtis' team is sending me listing alerts. So a woman. Anyway,
Wow.
so
There we
small
go.
world, right? Dale and I did not set this up.
That got a little, no, we did not set that up. That just got
small
weird.
world. But what this guy, here's the question that either my agent, hopefully, or this ISA should have asked. It sounds like you're talking to a lot of agents. Out of curiosity, what are you looking for in an agent? Or what's your expectations of an agent? Because right now, all this guy is doing is just, he's got 4 or 5 people setting them up on listing alerts who probably did this. Hey, Dale, I'm going to do a really good job for you. I'm going to set you up on a listing alert. Oh, okay. They don't care about that. But what do we do as agents? We tell them that they want that, and they go, "I guess I want that." It's not. It's not 2010. It's not where there was no Zillow. There was no. This listing alert thing. It doesn't have the value that it had 10 years ago because Zillow's the #1 website in the world. Realtor.com is the #2 website for things. So people can get the majority of the information they want without us. So talking about these great listing alerts, and this is an exact example of why they're not that valuable. Like my team set them up on a listing alert
because they've already heard it, and your team's probably not the only one they've heard it from, because he said, man, I got all these, I've been throwing around on all these websites. He's probably got even more than that. So I think that's a really good illustration, and exactly what you said. What do you, as another good question, what are you looking for in an agent? Because there's a 50-50 shot that he's either going to give you an idea. He's going to say, oh, well, when we find the right house, we'll reach out to the agent and make an offer, something like that. Or he might say, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it. You know what I mean? We're doing X, Y, and Z, which both are very telling, because either way, he doesn't have a huge value idea as to what agents represent.
So here's a great, so answer that question that way for me. Just say, I'll say, what are you looking for in an agent? And you say, I don't know, basically. So Dale, what are you looking for in an agent?
I don't know. I really haven't thought about it. We've just been looking at houses, trying to find, the one we're looking for.
Right. I understand the majority of the people I talk to don't necessarily have an answer to that question, but some people do. That's why I always want to ask. But with that in mind, if I could show you a way to save between $1,000 and $1,500 working with our team, is that something that might interest you?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So what I'm doing is, this guy's a shopper, right? He's got 5 different agents setting him up on listing alerts. He's obviously talking to somebody else. What I've got to do is close him down a little bit and say, hey, if I can do X for you, would you consider doing Y for me?
Yeah. And what's really important for everybody watching this right now is this is going on in your market right now. It just so happened that this lead is in Brian's market and came from a different team, a different client of mine. And this was not planned whatsoever. And I didn't think Brian was going to catch that. I didn't know that that was Brian's agent, frankly, who had previously spoken to the lead. Either way, this is going on in your market. Every single lead you talk to is talking to at least probably 3 to 5 other agents in your market. And so that's part of the reason that you and I do this, Brian, is because, if you're going to win, then you have to brush your skills up. You really have to brush your training up, and you have to lock these people down, and you have to keep them in your bubble and keep them from going outside the bubble.
Yeah. And how do you do that? You have to do a couple things. You have to bring some value, and hopefully you can do, what I refer to as law of reciprocity. I'm going to give you something, and what are you going to give me in return? Your loyalty, your debt, you want to work with me, whatever. And that's why we use USPs, to be real honest, is we want somebody to be set up in a way that they go, yeah, I'm getting more value from this person than I am from somebody else. And that value can be financial. It can be, hey, we're going to, and for example, we get a free home warranty and free appraisal. That's where I came up with that $1,000 to $1,500 number. And, so we're actually physically giving them that, and that, it literally saves them money. Or it might be, this is a different value that we have. I've got a program we call Love It or List It, which basically means at any point in time in the first 12 months, if you don't want to live in this house anymore, we'll sell it for free. So, we have different USPs out there that can do different things for people. And you've got to find out what makes these people tick, what makes important. And this guy's not an easy discovery guy, but I'll tell you what, he's easier than some people because he is willing to talk. And if you ask him enough questions, you'll be able to decipher all the stuff he knows.
Yeah, exactly. I would say I think that for you and I, it's not tough because of the experience that we have, and we've heard a million of these people before, right? They want to tell you everything that they know, and you and I are just always looking for, what don't you know? What can I bring up? What can I use to attract you? What boxes have you not already checked, or how do I create something that you haven't considered yet? That's what we're listening for.
Absolutely. And we talked about this because we're starting doing some role plays on our team, and it's a puzzle. That's what it is for me. And it's just listening to that thing, find that one thing. I go, ooh, here's the button. And you know what? Sometimes we're wrong about that. And then we got to listen for the next one.
Right.
But if you're not playing the game, if you will, if you're not trying to figure out what is the thing that's going to take this person from, I know everything, I don't need anybody, to, hey, here's some value. And that's why I came up with that real quick. Hey, if I could show you how to save $1,000 to $1,500, is that something that might interest you? Yeah. Okay. Now we're talking about something you don't know anything about it. You know why? Because I just made it up. I didn't really. I mean, we've had it, but.
By the way, looks like whoever signs up with Power ISA gets a free toaster.
Free toaster. Excellent. Thanks, Gus. All right. Well, great call, Dale. I think there's a lot to learn there for sure. So. All right. Would you like me to play one?
Yeah. A lot to learn.
Perfect.
You need to figure out where that lead is as soon as you get off this call.
I'm not. Nope. That would, it's funny. It's funny. Dale's talking to this guy. I literally had a conversation with this agent, 48 hours ago. And,
Right.
I'm not worried about competition. There's plenty of business out there for all of us. And who knows, maybe our agent will get it. Maybe so-and-so's agent will get it. I won't call it.
May the best people win.
Absolutely. So little fun out there, abundance mentality. And all right, well, I'm going to share mine. And
while you're doing that, Gustavo wants to know about the best USPs that you're seeing working in this market.
So I'll tell you what we use. We have a public servant program. That's probably the strongest one. Public servant program is for medical people like nurses, paramedics, anybody who works at a hospital, clergy, firefighters, police officers, EMTs, basically anybody, teachers, veterans, and active military. So that's what we use that. We give them a free home warranty and a free appraisal. So that's my favorite one right now. All right. Well, I'm going to play this call. You'll have to let me know if you can hear the agent. The buyer is significantly louder than the agent, so it may be a challenge to hear it. So, but I'm going to go ahead and start playing this.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Would you like me to go ahead and set up your showing for you?
Yeah, I was kind of. Here's the thing. I mean, it's just my wife and I. We've been looking for a house for some time. We just got into a rental contract in August.
Okay.
I mean, I know these things could take some time, but I am interested in that property. And I know
August of last.
Starts out a little slow.
Do what?
You know when this call was? How recent or old is this call? So we can be in relevance to August.
He'll say this. He's been in the house. He's been in that rental for 7 months.
Okay.
last year?
Yeah. So I'm,
Here it is.
what, 7 months in?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know what the first steps are to. Yeah, I'd like to see it first.
Sure. Let me ask you this: Is your rental? Can you carry your rental and a mortgage at the same time, or do you need to get out of the rental in order to get in the house?
I mean, I could talk. I've got a really great owner, so I
Hey,
could talk to
Brian,
him.
can you pause it? Can you do me a favor so that I don't because there's plenty of things we could have interjected on my call, so that I don't interject. What was it that you were
So
wanted to
actually,
point out?
the thing that he just pointed out right there is one of the things that I wanted to point out. So here's what a lot of people get stuck on. Oh, I've got, if I've been in a rental for 7 months, that means I have 5 more months. I guess I better call you back in July. And he didn't do that. He asked the question basically, could you carry your rental payment and buy a house at the same time? I think that's a great question. And you
That's
could
not
put
a
a
very
similar
common
one.
question.
No,
I hardly ever hear that question.
no, but do you like it? I like it.
I like it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard that question, actually. I don't think I've ever heard that consideration. I think as close as I've ever heard was, would you, if you found the perfect home, would you be able to make a move before your lease ends? That's about as close as I've heard, but his question is much more direct to whether or not you can afford it.
Yeah. And, the guys go through and basically say, well, I might be able to get out of my lease or whatever. But, most agents give up, especially if you're way out. And here's the interesting thing. If you ask the question like you ask, or ask the question like this agent asked, or ask some version of the question, sometimes somebody's been in a lease for 3 months and they've got a cool landlord who'd be like, yeah, I know the landlord. We've been buddies for years. He'll let me out. But that's not going to happen all the time. But you might get 1 or 2 extra deals a year just by asking that question. And it's that thing that you and I talk about all the time. Make sure that you're not making any assumptions and you're going deep enough to get the true discovery. So
Yeah. I want to give a funny example that speaks to that, Brian, is that one client that I had that did probably 4 transactions with me over the course of a couple of years actually came as a referral from a random FISBO who I called, who wouldn't meet with me and didn't want my services. And I gave up and asked, okay, great. Well, do you know anyone else who's looking to sell? And that FISBO who wouldn't meet with me or use my services referred me to this person who then went on to do a bunch of business with me. So,
nice.
well, normally, right, you would think, man, the FISBO is not going to refer you anybody. FISBO doesn't like agents, right? Doesn't want agents. Turned out they referred me a few $1 million worth of business.
Right. And so again, if you'd have made the assumption, you wouldn't have got that business. And what does it hurt us? I think sometimes what does it hurt to ask that question? By the way, do you happen to know anybody else? Since obviously you don't want to work with an agent, right? I happen to know anybody else? But actually I do. Oh, really? I mean,
It was weird. I was like, okay, great.
Maybe that's a 1 out of 100 answer, realistically. But hey, what's one deal in your business, in your market worth? 6, 7, 8, $10,000? I'll take an extra 10 grand. I could use that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm going to play a little bit more of this, and I apologize, a little bit quiet, but there's some good questions that get asked here. I've actually talked to this agent, not maybe his most enthusiastic phone call, but
yeah. So I wasn't going to point that out if that's not what we were talking about.
Yeah, and I've talked about that, and it does. There wasn't a lot of energy in the phone call. I'm not sure why, because he's really good, but just we all have off days, right? So
yeah.
See what the deal is, but I did sign a 1-year lease, so.
Okay, awesome. Well,
and actually, I'm from Westport originally, and we had to move to Farmington because the people we were renting from sold the house that we lived in for 15 years. And so we're looking to buy something.
All right, awesome. So why don't we set up a showing for this, and then if you like this one and you want to move forward with it, we can kind of discuss the next steps after that, if you like.
So I don't know about you, but I love this part of it too. I want people to get in front of people whenever they can. And even somebody who, he might have to wait an additional 5 months for this guy to close out anything. Maybe he can't get out of his lease. Maybe he won't carry 2 months, but get in front of him. This guy likes this house. And I think a lot of people go, well, you're going to be probably 5 or 6 months out. This house isn't going to be on the market anymore. All those things are true, by the way.
Yeah.
But get in front of people face to face, show them a value, because the other 3 agents that he talked to said, you're 6 months out. I don't want to deal with you.
Right. Brian, this is for everybody listening. Everybody knows that when you're trying to pre-qualify a potential buyer or a potential new piece of business, and they start talking about an agent, we know the hierarchy of like, I haven't talked to any agents yet, to somebody is sending me emails, to yeah, I'm corresponding with this person, to I've been out to see houses with this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
The level of difficulty for you to convert that person goes up with that engagement. And so what you're telling everybody is get that engagement to here, get it as high as we can get it, because we just heard in my call, your pocket can get picked, right? If we had gotten out with Johnny Do It Yourself, he probably would have been much less likely to talk to a bunch of other agents and probably would have hit my call in the face with a, hey man, we're already working with somebody. Thanks. We've been out to see properties.
And that's why nothing frustrates me more to hear an agent on my team say, well, I don't want to show you a house because you're not pre-qualified. There's nothing that frustrates me more. By the way, I don't think any of them will say it anymore.
Not anymore.
I beat them over the head with that.
Yeah.
Because again, this guy's going to take them out, and by the time they get pre-qualified, they're already working with somebody else. So yes, are you going to go out every once in a while and show a property to somebody who can't buy a house? Yep, 100%. And I don't care if you can get people pre-qualified. Some of those people eventually won't be able to buy houses, but you're going to miss more opportunities than waste time. Go meet people in person. So
yeah, some of the assignment, I'm sorry, we're taking up your time here. Go ahead.
That's okay. It's good stuff. Well, I'm going to play just a couple more minutes of this, and then we'll finish up.
Okay.
What is your availability tomorrow?
I'm free on Saturdays and Sundays most of the time.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the end of it.
No, let's do 12.
I'm always on time, man.
I don't have time to go through it, and that's okay. So, but I do want to point something else out that this guy did, and it's something that we teach, and it's something that's critical. He buttoned this guy up at one point in time, and I can't find it, and we've only got a minute left. But he basically said this: I can show you any house in the state of Arkansas. Just let him know, hey, by the way, you don't have to do that. And he also buttoned up with, in case, if anybody else, you talk to anybody else, just let them know that you're working with person X at Curtis Realty Group. And I promise you, you put that script in their mouth, it'll come out. In other words, if I say, Dale, if you're probably going to get phone calls from a bunch of other agents, just tell them you're working with Brian from Curtis Realty Group. That will go from my mouth to your mouth into the other agent's ears. And I guarantee you that 99 out of 100 agents go, why? They knew the name of the agent and they knew the company he worked for. They got a pretty solid relationship. I got an agent is different than I've got an agent. His name is Brian, and this is the company he works for. So. Yeah,
that's a great point there to make. So you absolutely have to button that stuff up.
So here we'll add a little bit to this. The agent who did this call is actually on cash call and just went into the chat. We have an offer accepted as a backup on a different house, and we're discussing listing his dad's house on this one. So nice. So that's this great. Stuff really does work, guys. And again, the agent who did this, it wasn't his best call. And that's something else I want to point out. He still did all the things. And for whatever reason, he wasn't 100% on top of his game as far as energy. But hey, we all are going to have those bad days. But here's what I love. This is a bad day for him that turned into an offer and a potential listing. Those are pretty good bad days. I think that he could have brought the energy up a little bit more, but fortunately it wasn't that far from the lead that he was talking to. So that's true. I don't think the lead even noticed. No, he probably didn't. So anyway, great job. Shout out to him. And there's this stuff does work, guys. And I think that's really important to understand, is that doing good discovery, building some rapport, and letting people know that you're their agent. It's really simple, but don't see it happen very often, to be honest. And all the calls that we list to, there's not enough of it. So that's my thoughts.
Absolutely. Excellent. Good job, Micah. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And we will not have a cash call next week. I am out, but we will see everybody in 2 weeks. Right, Brian? Unless you
That's
have
right.
plans for
No,
one
we're
next
good. We'll see everybody in 2 weeks, and appreciate everybody today. Thank you.
See you all in 2 weeks. Bye.